Okay guys, what we have here is the Pop Culture Shock Ken Masters quarter scale statue. So when I got this, it was broken in a few places at the ankle. I can't remember where else, but it was jacked up. So anyway, we completely I had to remove it from the base, which is with the Pop Culture Shock statues is just like crazy. They're so well in there. And luckily his left leg is magnetized, so that's cool. So I can, work with that. So I could, putting the pants back on without that'd be just, from an engineering standpoint, I would have to do something about that. But it's already done. So, and I got a buddy of mine, John Fici. He's done a bunch of these Street Fighter things. So I was able to pick his brain about it, and really get some good intel on what and what not to do. So anyway, I went with a semi-realistic skin tone on it. The veins, I bumped them out a little bit. Not sure if you could tell from the video. I'm really trying to get better with the lighting so you can see all these subtle details in reality. Cleaned up the eyes, the gloves. Basically just jazzed them up, made them look a lot better. I'll try and zoom in a little bit and see if we can show you some of those details. Not sure if you can see they call it molting. It's kind of a more realistic look on the skin tone. I'm not a huge fan of that overly contrasted look, so it's a nice balance of both, I guess you'd say, a little bit of each kind of style. And I try to keep it like basically, worked with almost like kind of what stock skin tones would be. I make my own skin tones. I don't use anything out of the bottle. And I got a nice color variation with him. I really like it, and it's it's a little hard to tell with the lighting. Like I said, I got to figure this out. If I could show you guys what I have actually set up right now to take this video, it would probably be laughable, because I feel like it's a full photo booth. I mean, I got tripods set up and all kinds of stuff, but I still feel like I can't get that same thing as seen in person. Like this in person is, let's say, 25 to 35% better than you're seeing, in the camera. But, I'm not a photographer. I'm getting there. So anyway, it was a fun piece to do. I like the Street Fighter genre. I grew up playing it. So I like working on these things, and they're so well made. I mean, from a standpoint of being somebody who fixes these and converts these statues, I would definitely say PCS is the best statue production to date. I mean, I would say they beat out every other company that I've come into contact with. That's Sideshow, XM, even Gentle Giant. Like, they're just solid pieces. The way that they're put into the base is insane. I mean, it's a threaded bolt that is attached to the base, I guess, when the resin's still a little wet. So getting that out is a nightmare. But like any company, there is some breaks here and there. So like I said, the guy sent them in to me with some damage. I said, you know what, we got them. Let's jazz them up and get them real cool looking. So yeah, the leather gloves have like a little bit of a sheen to them, because leather, does. And Ken, as opposed to Ryu, is kind of like that clean cut pretty boy. So like I toyed around the whole idea of like, let's dirty up his gi at the bottom and let's put some like sweat on him and kind of stuff and beat up his gloves. But I feel like as soon as his stuff got dirty, he would just go buy another pair. So we kept them nice clean, and fits the character, the ego and background that I associate with Ken. So what I'll do now is I'll take you off the tripod to try and get in a little closer, with the details. So if it does get a little shaky, my apologies, but I really want you to see this stuff. Before I do that, let me kill a light and see if that helps. Not a whole lot, but like there's decent shading in his in between his hair and stuff like that, and it's the picture's just not picking it up. Let me try this. I got a pink light too. So that's just playing with other lights here and seeing how it comes out. It's kind of cool looking. I don't know if that did anything. Alright, so I'm going to get in a little closer now. Had to make sure you got that that clean pedicure on them. Okay, so here he is with the gi on. That's tricky, by the way. A little bit of playing around with it, and you know, you figure out how to get it back on. But yeah, so I really like how this came out. There is another head. I'll put that on next just so you guys can check it out. It's very similar, but you know, just for the full picture. Okay, so here's the EX head. I added a little red ribbon over his ponytail. Back there, which I think may have came with the statue, but didn't particularly come with this one. I'm not sure. At the time, I thought it was a great idea because I don't really collect these statues, and I was like, wow, there should be a red ribbon back there. But then I saw some pictures where it had the red ribbon, so I don't know if it came with it or it didn't, but you know, it's cool. You know, the story behind the red ribbon from the animated movie, you know, Ryu hurts himself, cuts his forehead. You know, while they're training, Ken takes it off to stop the bleeding and, you know, wraps it around his head, and that's where Ryu gets his famous red bandana from, which, like I said, I'm a huge fan of Street Fighter, so I know all these nerdy facts. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Took a little time, but I'm really happy how it came out. I think the client will be as well. It's a pretty big improvement from you know, the factory paint job, and yeah, hope you guys like it. Stay tuned, as always, there's more to come. I think I got at least another Street Fighter or two coming out if this is what you're into, and if you're just into statues in general, I got a lot of awesome, you know, statues coming as well. So thanks again. Bye.
How did you do that?
With style, Petit. With style.